ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
He's literally old enough to be Jake Paul's dad. And he wouldn't even have had to have Jake Paul at a crazy age. He wouldn't even have had, like, you know what I mean? He could have had Jake Paul at like 20, 21, 22 and still being his dad right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like,
I know. And the way that he's got him dancing on TikTok, like, yeah, okay, somebody pointed out to me, he's Brazilian, he loves to dance. Maybe so, but would he really be doing that if he wasn't?
loves to zumba. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
He's Brazilian, he loves to dance. Like,
Would he really freaking be doing that on TikTok, dancing around at 47 years old with that other YouTuber guy? No way he wouldn't.
come
And
on,
I don't
man.
like it because it's all set up for, you know, Anderson Silva to lose, and he shouldn't really lose. And I hope he doesn't. I really hope that he actually isn't getting paid to get knocked out. Hello and welcome to another episode of Another Round. We're going to go over a couple of fights coming up. The massive fight with Ramirez and Bivol. Also discussion about Tyson Fury versus CHISORA for the third time again. So I am the host, Mike Thomas. My co-host here is Hamza Hanif. And how's everything going over there in the UK, my friend?
Yeah, man, everything is
About
groovy.
What did you say about COVID?
No, I'm just saying it's crazy how it doesn't exist anymore. Like, it seemed to like totally take over our lives for so long, and now it's gone. You know, we can travel freely, we can move around. There's nobody screaming at you to put a mask on. It's nice.
I don't have to do a COVID test when I travel now, which is amazing, which I love.
That was such a headache. Even when I came to see you. Like, you know, you're stressing out, bro. The whole process. You're thinking, if I test positive, my whole holiday is done. You know what I mean?
And the holiday, like, imagine all of the money that was not paid out and that was lost over like COVID tests. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Bro, I actually had a similar experience, and this is kind of like what made me think, right, that there's definitely, you know, there's people out here making money, all right, because there was a situation when you came. I flew to New York in December, and it was during lockdown. It was like during COVID, and flying back to arrive back into the UK, you had to have a test, which was done through a private company. You had to upload the details and everything like that. Yeah. 4 of us traveled back. All of us took the test. We all sent it away. Everything like that. Everything was great. None of us got our results back. Literally one person out of 4 got our results back. We paid like £100 for each test. Do you know what I mean? And it was just like, man, you don't get you don't get your results back. Yeah, so it was just like, come on.
The amount of stress that they put on people. I remember they sent a man round. We were supposed to quarantine in the house and stay in, and they sent a man round to check that we were in staying in. It's like big fight. Bivol and Ramirez. Ramirez is kind of like, well, Bivol, we know his qualities, his strength. We saw against Canelo. How do you think that fight will go? Who do you think will win? And the styles make fights, as we always say, kind of like, what do you think about it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love this fight, right? Because it's such a sleeper of a fight. And it's like, it's one of those fights where if you know, you know. You only have to really look at these two guys' record to realize that they're both very legit fighters. The thing is, I give Bivol the advantage because Bivol is a strong, experienced champion, and you know, in his last fight against Canelo, he got to showcase that to the world. But obviously, he's always been that guy. You know, he's had his great amateur record. You know, perfect professional record. You have to really give Bivol the advantage in this fight, because he's been in with the bigger names. He's had that sort of that baptism of fire. Now, Ramirez on paper, he's a bigger guy than Bivol. I think he's 2 inches taller, 2 or 3 inches taller than Bivol. He's a big guy. He's a big, strong guy. But the names that he's been in with some notable names. But the only thing is, they're guys like Isaac Chalembe. They're guys that aren't like, you know, they're not elite level fighters. And some of the fighters that he's been in with as well, they've kind of been aging a little bit as well. That being said, stylistically, these two match up really well. This is going to be a banger of a fight. And to be honest with you, this is a far more dangerous fight for Bivol than Canelo ever was. You know, Canelo's 5'7", but you know, like, you know, Bivol's given up height against Ramirez. You know, I mean, Ramirez has had almost double the professional fights that Bivol has had. So, you know, make no mistake about it, despite, you know, Ramirez not being world renowned or world known, he is the far more dangerous Mexican in this situation for Bivol.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. It's gonna be a really interesting fight. I was also excited to hear about a potential fight between Caleb Plant and Benavidez, which I would love to see that. And by the way, for all those people that think that I jumped on the bandwagon of Caleb Plant, I have supported Caleb Plant for a long time. I've been telling you, and you know that, because I've been talking about.
No, I do. Yeah.
I was happy that he got that win, you know. So I think it needed it. He needed it to kind of raise his profile, because I feel like he doesn't get the attention or the profile that he really should. And now he kind of is a bit more in the limelight. Him and Benavidez would be a massive fight. And I wouldn't say it's a dead cert that Benavidez wins that, because, you know, I think they're both hungry. They both got similar records. They're both similar size guys. And I think that's going to be a very, very good fight. A very close.
Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. And never ever underestimate the power of the viral knockout. You know what I mean? It's like you have rightly have always, you know, been so high on Caleb Plant, but he has sort of been a bit of an unknown. You get a massive knockout like that, and it does absolute wonders for your profile. You know, like the amount of times I've seen that knockout, and then the celebration after it as well. It's all over my Instagram feed. So it's like that can do that can do massive for a fighter. Yeah, so like I say, you know, Tyson Fury has definitely earned the right to fight whoever he wants. The only issue that I have with it, and it's one of those things where this is one of the big problems with boxing, you know, and we've just seen it play out with Wilder and Helenius, where you have two guys who are likely friends behind the scenes, you know, who are sparring partners, you know. In this case, they've been past adversaries, but we all know that, you know, Fury and CHISORA for years have been friendly. They've been on good terms. And then next thing you know, they're fighting, you know, for a third time on pay-per-view, you know, and they're going to make millions and millions of pounds. And that's what's almost wrong with the sport of boxing. And it's kind of why people, you know, kind of gravitate more towards UFC, because you see things like this happening more and more and more, where a sparring partner will fight a sparring partner and they will make millions and millions, where there is no, I'm not going to say, of course, Chisora's a fighting man and he's getting paid to fight and he's going to turn up and he's going to fight. It's just, you know, Tyson Fury is an elite heavyweight, you know, and he should be right now fighting elite heavyweights, you know. I understand that that Usyk probably doesn't want to fight until next year. He's been in a very physical contest with Joshua very recently.
Yeah.
Why not fight Joyce? Why not try and make that fight? Why not, you know, try and make a fight that's.
Here's the thing, Usyk, Joyce is very dangerous for Usyk. Tyson Fury is very dangerous for Usyk. This guy's just won. He's just won the heavyweight medals.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's trying to cling on for a little minute. He's trying to meet, you know, try and do his day in the sun. I think I've got a huge amount of respect for Usyk, and I think he would never shy away from anybody, and I think he's going to fight who he needs to fight. But at the same time, I think he, you know, understandably, there's a lot going on for him right now. Next year, we'll get it on, and I'm looking forward to that Fury Usyk fight. I'm hopefully in February time. You know, we think that's kind of what's been said.
Unless CHISORA gets the dub, though, unless CHISORA comes out and fucking and that's another problem with these little interim fights, you know, is that and another reason why we can't reach those.
The mandatories are sometimes very a hindrance to what should be the best fight and the best for the world titles for everything. And there are a lot of the reason why Undisputed doesn't happen as much, especially in heavyweight boxing, because heavyweight boxing, you know, you got guys over 200 pounds, which could easily at any one time catch each other with the right punch at the right time, and anyone can get knocked out. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
And going back to the farcical stuff of boxing, which leads me on to another boxing fight that's on this weekend, which has annoyed me, in that is involving Anderson Silva. Just because for me, you talked about UFC. Anderson Silva, to me, it was a legend. I know this is a boxing channel, but I loved watching Anderson Silva. He was one of my favorite UFC fighters, you know, and he respectfully retired. You know, he's in my eyes, you know, he's a legend and one of the best UFC fighters out there, right?
Greatest of all time, bro, in my opinion, because I don't like all that wrestling shit. You know, I like the kicking and the punching, and to me, he was the greatest of all time.
Yeah. So now
like, he was like the Roy Jones of MMA. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And now he's facing this YouTuber guy, and I don't like it because you know, people aren't recognizing that Anderson Silva. The general public don't. You and I know, but Anderson Silva's 47 years old. And yeah, somebody pointed out to me, he's Brazilian. He likes to,
He's literally old enough to be Jake Paul's dad, and he wouldn't even have had to have Jake Paul at a crazy age. He wouldn't even have had, like, you know what I mean? He could have had Jake Paul at like 20, 21, 22 and still being his dad right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like,
I know. And the way that he's got him dancing on TikTok, like, yeah, okay, somebody pointed out to me, he's Brazilian, he loves to dance. Maybe so, but would he really be doing that if he
loves to zumba? Like, what the fuck? Yeah. He's Brazilian, he loves to dance. Like,
would he really freaking be doing that on TikTok, dancing around at 47 years old with that other YouTuber guy? No way he wouldn't. And I don't like it because it's all set up for, you know, Anderson Silva to lose, and he shouldn't really lose. And I hope he doesn't. I really hope that he actually isn't getting paid to get knocked out, because it'll piss me off, honestly.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to see legends of the game go out like that, you know, just for money. Money? No, but dude, like, they shouldn't really be allowing it, to be honest. You shouldn't.
I don't know how come. I don't understand how like, honestly, like, take away the whole Jake Paul, take away Anderson Silva, like, you know, I don't understand how a commission can let a 24-year-old guy, big, strong guy, possibly on steroids. We don't know. He looks like it to me, right? You know, and I don't understand how they can let a guy like that fight a 47-year-old guy and they can license it. I understand that he's an MMA fighter and he's well able to defend himself in any situation, but just from a moral standpoint, how is that allowed? You know, how in a sporting sense, how is that allowed? You know,
but you know, I understand it's Anderson Silva's decision. He said, "Hey, I want to fight," but at the same time, anything past 45 to me, you know, even 40, and obviously, but 45 up to me is a bit wrong. I mean, I didn't really like what happened to Holyfield. You know, that was messed up
terrible.
Too. Yeah,
that was terrible.
Exactly. I don't want to see the same thing that happened to Holyfield happen to Anderson Silva. And, you know, the way that Jake Paul's got this kind of confidence bravado, to me, it's like he already knows he's going to win for some reason. And something there that I don't like, you know. I don't like...
The thing about age is, right, like, age can affect so many people so differently. Like, I know it sounds weird, but, like, if you look at Mike Tyson on the bag and on the pads right now, and you look at Evander Holyfield, like, Holyfield looks utter shit, you know what I mean? Like, he looked terrible, and that was one of the big things about his comeback, where it was like, God, he doesn't look good though, you know what I mean? Where we kind of all bought into the exhibition fight with Mike Tyson and Roy Jones because both of them looked all right. They didn't look like they did back in the day, for obvious reasons, but, like, they looked good for the age. Anderson Silva looks good for the age. Do you know what I mean? But is that going to be enough? Like, should that be like, what does this prove? What does this prove? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Fight him in MMA then. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because he's 46 or 47 or however old he is, why don't you fight him in MMA if you're such a fucking tough guy? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you limiting him to a skill set that he's not like professionally known for?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. At least let him throw some kicks.
But yeah, if you're watching, don't give this boy any money. Don't go out and pay for it. Just watch it after the fight.
Illegally stream it.
We need to end the end of this. We need to stop this man from doing this and ruining UFC fighters, their careers and their reputation. I don't like it. And I don't like acting like
Mr. I care about fighters as well. Like, his whole shtick is so transparent. Like, I don't want to get on the thing and rant because it's obviously we're here to discuss real legitimate boxing, but it's like, you know, this whole shtick that he has, you know, trying to freeload off Dana White's success or his business success or his, you know, his brand that he's built up over years. You don't pay your fighters. You literally beat up old fighters, and the only reason you're able to fight these people is because you throw money at them, you know. So it's like you're so exploitative in the way that he does business.
Money in exchange for public humiliation. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
that's what it is. No, it is, because they make memes out of them. So, like, you know, there was the guy who got kneed by what was his name? What was his name?
Ben Askren. Yes, Ben Askren, the curly haired guy, right?
Like, I'm gonna get paid, you know, a lot of money, more than probably I used to make at UFC, just to be publicly humiliated and have my reputation kind of damaged for the rest of my career. Like, I don't like it. Yeah, I know it's a choice, but anyway, let's move on. Hopefully that kind of thing he'll get stopped at some point. But yeah.
By the way, I hope Silva is the one to stop him. You know, I hope that I want this stuff to end so badly. I almost have no problem with them fighting each other if that's what they want to do. Like, but I don't like this idea of let's stack the deck in my favor. Yeah. Let me fight old people. Let me fight, you know, who's he gonna fight next? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what are the options next, man? Is he gonna fight a midget next? Like, what is happening, man? Do you know what I mean?
He's always got to have a great advantage. It's not like he ever.
Yeah, like what bravery is that? Like, what is the point? Like, people fight so they can prove to themselves and to their peers and to they can prove themselves. That's one of the main reasons people choose combat sports, is so that they can prove themselves. What does this prove when you stack the deck massively in your favor? What does it prove? It just proves that people are gullible enough to allow this to happen, you know?
It's a real kind of narcissistic thing to it as well, like, wanting to beat your idols, because we all know he was a big UFC fan growing up, and these are all the people that he loved. You know, Conor McGregor, his whole image is based off Conor McGregor. His old tattoos, the way he looks and everything, the way he dresses and the way he talks, he's modeled himself on Conor McGregor. He's so desperate to fight him, and like, it's weird, you know what I mean? But anyway, talking of real boxing, I'm happy that Dillian Whyte's coming back into the ring, you know, and he's got his fight with Franklin. Hopefully that'll be a good, convincing win. That's what he needs to get back into the limelight, and we're excited for that, and that should be good. So
yeah, 100%. I think, Franklin's got a good record, and it's the first time he's fought outside the United States, though. So it's one of those where he has that perfect record, but he hasn't fought any world ranked opponents, really. So it's a good fight for Dillian Whyte to come back to. I still think, he has a lot to offer despite his last sort of outing against Tyson Fury. I think he fought the best in the division, and I don't think he turned up. He didn't really look mentally there to me that night. And he lost to the better man, but I still think, he has a lot to offer the heavyweight division. He always brings excitement when he fights. He's good in the build-up as well. Tickets for that fight are actually out tomorrow And I might see if I can get some, man. I
Yeah,
might have a
that'd be
little trip
great.
down to London and see if I can see Dillian Whyte fighting in person. That would be great.
Right, yeah, that'd be fantastic if we could. But yeah, that's another good one to look forward to. So lots of exciting fights coming up, and that's been another episode of Another Round.